You know, it's almost like your birthday with a package from China, so let's go. The only thing I needed to do is click it open here, so we can just fold it open. And the reason I want to remove it, because I'm just going to be honest, I didn't like it at all, just to see how they refurbish and how this thing looks. And you can just see that this thing is brand new condition. So look also the back, they did not change out the ring, but it's scratched, but not to the point it's going to be a problem. Okay, you can just open it up. This seems to be all working fine. The button feel, and that's going to be one of the maybe comparisons later on. It's like, how does the button feel compared with the original? But everything seems to be just fine. In here we're finding the battery. Let's see what kind of battery they are using in here. That's interesting. The overall battery quality looks kind of legit, or at least like it looks like a very nice quality battery. And in here we're finding the SD card with the adapter, and this is 128 gigabyte they're using. Okay, so let's put this back in and let's see if this thing is going to be booting up. See if it's going to be powering on, or do we need to charge it first? No, nothing is happening, so we're going to be charging it first. So the adapter itself is super lightweight. It's absolutely like not the best quality. This thing doesn't even fit perfectly okay. Oh boy, that's not a great start, but okay, let's see. Does it even charge up? Yep, it does charge up, so it does actually work. That's of course the most important thing. And let's see. Okay, so the LED is flashing over here when it comes to, let's say, the powering on sequence of the device itself. Or it just needs a little bit more time. Is something is going to be happening over here? There we go, it's flashing now twice. And there we go. So one of the first, let's say, upgrades they did is giving the PSP 1000 an IPS panel. Looking at them side by side, you will not see a lot of differences if I'm looking through the camera, but the biggest difference, of course, that the IPS is so much more crisp and clear. But if you're going to be moving, let's say, the original PlayStation Portable 1000 in a different, let's say, position, you can just actually see how the difference is if it's going to be booting up. Because this thing doesn't have a battery in the inside, there we go. You can just see that the colors of the IPS panel are so much better. But if you're going to be doing a side-by-side comparison with a game, so we have more colors, you can just see how detailed the IPS panel is. So this is absolutely a cool upgrade for the PlayStation Portable 1000 model. Where I love the original PlayStation, yeah, you can just see how, let's say, detailed also everything is. So the IPS panel is absolutely a must-have when it comes to a modified PlayStation Portable 1000. But okay, so when you're actually going to be looking into, let's say, the housing or the casing, this is not 100% accurate when having with the PlayStation 1000 model. So some minor differences over here. So when you're looking at the buttons over here, let's zoom in, you will see that there's a combination of some translucent, and underneath we're having the arrows. That is completely different when it comes to, let's say, this particular model. You can see that they just put on the decals on top of it. So they are completely different, and the quality of the shell is different. And I must say, not in like a negative way, but just the way how it actually looks. So first of all, when you just, I think the biggest difference I've noticed when pressing the buttons over here at the right side, you can just see that they're just completely different. The feel itself, the click, everything. And that is so different, where we have a little bit of a more wiggle to it. The PlayStation Portable 1000 from China, our Sumo shop, is just different. So this refurbished model is not 100% accurate to the original PlayStation Portable. Not like a super bad thing, but I just wanted to be clear and point it out. Another thing I also noticed when looking into, let's say, the back part, so the battery compartment plastic, this is just different. It also clicks in way better. Can have to do maybe of the battery, but I already been struggling a lot with this, so I'm going to be leaving it that there where it is. But the overall, let's say, quality wise, it's a good shell, but it is absolutely different compared with the original PlayStation 1000. But where we're going to be booting it up, what are we getting when it comes to the software? So this thing has been, let's say, modified to the latest version. I understand there's no really development going on when it comes to the PlayStation Portable. So what you see is what you're going to be getting. You don't need to update it. So in here we're finding the game folder, and with the games we do have a lot of different things that we can actually play. Where they have all kinds of PlayStation Portable games, they divided them over there's different folders to make it a little bit better and easier to search. PlayStation 1 emulation, having over here the emulators, and the emulators we're having different one like the NES. I think this is the Master Boy for different kind of system. I think it was from the Master System, but I can have it wrong. This is the Mega Drive, Super NES, and the Game Boy Advance. So it's quite limited when it comes to, let's say, emulation possibilities. It's like an extra. Of course, you need to boot it into the emulator, and then from there you need to load up the game. No front end and everything that we've seen with different cheap devices. So when they're actually going to be buying, let's say, the broken or like filthy PlayStation Portables to refurbish, one of the questions is always like, do they refurbish the drives? You actually don't need it, but for some people who just wanted to play some game through the original like UMD drive, yeah, sometimes it's going to be a hit or miss, because when it comes to this, most of the time those disk drives are not working at all. I do hear this thing spinning, so it does boot up. I do see this icon over here, but there is nothing really happening. So I'm guessing that the disk drive is not working with my model. But if you're interested in a device like this, you can always ask the seller if he has one model with a working UMD drive in the inside. Adding games to the PlayStation Portable can be quite easy, but there are tutorials out there, so I'm not going to be in depth about it for now. You can just get into the folders, choose your game, and I think the library of the PlayStation Portable is absolutely fantastic. We have so many different games, but I'm not going to be deep diving into this. I know, like with the PlayStation 1, you do need a tool, so far I understand, converting them to the special format so you can actually use it for the PlayStation Portable. Okay, so let's try another game, and yeah, you barely seen the loading screen of the Wipeout game, so that's absolutely awesome. So let's use this game with everything, like including the shoulder buttons, and yeah, that is just amazing how this plays. You can just crank up the brightness of the display if I want to. Fairly easy at the front of the device. There we go. The PlayStation games will automatically put in the 4:3 aspect ratio. Oh. Another thing they did mess up is they didn't implement the right audio settings, or they didn't transfer the audio file, so we have no music. So that's a little bit of a downside, but beside that, the gaming of PlayStation 1 on this PlayStation Portable is just great. Let's mess around with the display itself. It's no problem whatsoever. If you want to get out of the game, just go here, pressing the home button, memory settings, we can reset. Let's go to the other settings. We have screen mode, original, black level adjustment can be done. So we do have like a lot of cool settings we can just do. We can reset the game if you want to, or just quit the game and go back to the main menu itself. But let's move into another game and let's see if they removed all of the soundtracks. Mainly when it comes to, let's say, getting in-game with some, let's say, Twisted Metal 2. Nope. They left it in. That's great. Oh man, the soundtracks of Twisted Metal 2 are so awesome. I still love to listen to them today. But the thing is, the unfortunate part is that we can't shoot because... Oh, they mapped it to the joystick. Okay, that's how they went. That is kind of weird. Get into some old school games here with the aspect ratio set to the right configuration. No weird thing going on with the audio itself. You know what's kind of funny? That I did play with some PlayStation Portable and some emulation a very long time ago. It was such a cool experience. Or how used to it can be playing this on many different devices now. I don't know if you've seen it, but if you're going to be like walking around, you do see some screen tearing. So that is a little bit of a downside. When it comes to gameplay wise, besides that, yeah, I can really enjoy it.